One of the other things that I thought was amazing with improv was the inclusivity that we all had. And we were constantly inviting other people to perform with us, to hop up on stage, men and women, and just embracing it. We had no expectations of them staying with the group or not staying with the group, but we did have a lot of flux in the group because people would come in for a few gigs and then go off and do stand-up, or come in and do another few gigs and then maybe go off and do some theater. We've had many, many, many talented people come through. So it was a core group, but it was also, like I said, very inclusive, and I think that's what kept things exciting for me, because yeah, I know how to improvise with Terry, and I know pretty much what she's gonna say next, because I might have heard it before, but Sue Murphy coming in, or Sandy Althouse came in, and all these other people, it was fun.
Yeah,
it was a lot of
fun.
And
we also made, I mean, that's part of the deal with improv, but you made them look good. So of course it was a very welcoming, arena for them to perform in, and to show off their talents as well. I mean, we all had our own specific talents, but to bring fresh meat into the mix was good.
And I also think what happened, in addition to all the new people coming in, they brought a different audience. They might have had a following because they did stand-up, or like Sue Murphy with Dan St. Paul, and they had an act together, and then she did, stand-up on her own. They brought people with them. They had a following, and we were exposed to more people, and we wouldn't have been if we were saying, this is our group, you can't come in, yan, yan, yan.
Well, and also, I mean, it was yet another opportunity for women to perform on stage. Yeah. I mean, rarely were you, except I guess there were women's nights. That's how Femprov started out at the Holy City Zoo. But for the most part, if it was just a regular bill, women weren't booked together.
No, you could have one or two women comedians. When I was doing stand-up, I was pretty much it for a while. And then somebody else would come in. I remember this woman that I met at Frank Kidder's workshop, Joan Rosenthal, and she was kind of like a Joan Rivers, and did some bawdier things than I ever did. But yeah, we never performed together, never.
Yeah, no opportunities.
Yeah.
Right. So talk a little bit about like our different roles in the group, not necessarily performing, but just in the creativity and marketing ourselves. And
well, yeah, we did. I think I know that you did all the artwork, and for the most part, Terry was, she was maybe working at People Are Talking at the time.
I think that maybe came later, actually, in the early days at least.
Yeah, she was doing something, but she had an idea of, putting together press packets, and she would get, flyers and things, you would get them printed, or she would get them printed, and we would, paper the room, the whole town with improv flyers. And I found some articles. There was this magazine, or similar to SF Weekly, and it was called After Dark. And they had a listing of a lot of the entertainment venues and who was performing, because this is way before you could look it up or ask Siri. And we were in there every week. And I think Terry took care of that. And that was like her contribution and her job. Yours was artwork, photography. I think I don't remember if I did any.
I think you wrote press releases as well.
I used to do more of the writing thing, but I was working a full-time day job, and I think Susan was also.
Mm-hmm.
So you guys, you know,
had a little time on our hands.
Yeah, well, but it worked out.
Yeah, exactly.
And it was just, it wasn't it was very organic. You were talented in a certain area. Terry was very talented in a certain area, and it worked out very, very well that we self-managed, we self-promoted.
We knew what we had to offer, and we were.
Yeah.
Terry was very good at promotional stuff.
Yes.
And really understood that just inherently, I think.
And calling clubs and asking, you know, for time slots.
She's bold.
Yeah, and you know, and she was, like I said, instrumental in putting Cobb's on the map.
Right.
If it hadn't been for her, it would still not have, well, it wouldn't be a bar for sure, because the real estate got very, very pricey on Chestnut Street, but it probably would have not lasted as a bar.
Right. And Terry's background as a cheerleader, I mean,
Oh,
she
yes.
had a charisma and an aggressive, convincing personality.
Yes.
You know, like she could not talk them into it, but just like let them see how smart this move would be for them.
Yes, it was all about them, and the other thing that we all had different other side things that we did. I was doing a little bit of writing for Channel 20, and Terry was doing, I think she was doing stand-up. She was also doing things like Miss Haight Ashbury.
No.
She was the first Miss Haight Ashbury, so she was doing other things like that. Carol was definitely doing her own stand-up. Susan started doing stand-up, but it morphed into a little less femprov time, which is one of the reasons why we got an influx of new people, because so-and-so was doing stand-up and they couldn't make a femprov show. And I think I remember we had to have at least 4 people to make any of our things work. So yeah, that's one of the other reasons why we were so inclusive. We had to be too.
Well, and also just to offer variety in the show, you know, just so that it wasn't the same 3 people, you know, different voices, maybe different costumes or a different set of glasses, but just to have it, you know, be varied, because we did so many different pieces.
We did, and we did a lot of things that no other improv group in the city were doing. We did the behind the stage television things that we did, and all the technology that is like ancient by today's standards, but we were doing the cutting edge of those things. Nobody else had anything like that.
Right. Even Linda was saying, nobody's doing that, even today.
No.
Because it's a lot of, at the time it was a lot of schlepping of materials and, you know, and just the technical, you know, snafus that could happen, you know. We got it to work.